Welcome to the AVILOO Remarketing Show. Today, I, Raimund Brandstätter, Chief Sales Officer at AVILOO, will show you how you can use our battery certificate to advance and boost the used car trade in your business. I'd like to start with a question, and this question doesn't just concern the used car trade of electric vehicles or plug-in hybrids, which we test, but the used car trade in general. What does every buyer want when purchasing a used vehicle? Looks like you're ready. And especially when we're talking about electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids, the uncertainty in the market is greater than ever before. Although we have growing and increasing registration numbers, there is still a lot of uncertainty in the used car market, especially how good is the so-called black box battery. It can easily make up 20%, 30%, or maybe even 40% of the remaining value of the vehicle, and there really hasn't been any way to diagnose the condition of this battery. No way in the past. Today, there's AVILOO, and you can test it. But instead of just explaining to you with marketing slogans and sales pitches why the market is stagnating, I'd also like to share with you some statistics from an independent study that we commissioned last year. This study makes one thing very clear. In general, potential buyers of electric vehicles tend to prefer new vehicles much more than used ones, especially compared to buyers of traditional combustion engine cars. On the left side here on the slide, you can see that 61.33% of potential electric vehicle buyers would also be willing to buy used vehicles. That means you already lose almost 40% of potential vehicle buyers in the used car market because they would only buy new vehicles. Why? Because they don't trust a used battery. But with a battery certificate, you can convert 57% of these previously lost buyers, gaining additional customers who would then be willing to buy a used electric vehicle. That means the battery certificate, independently tested by AVILOO, expands your potential customer base. And if we now look at these potential buyers, 81% of them are convinced that only a used car dealer who also offers a battery certificate can be perceived as trustworthy, and 75% of these potential buyers even say they expect an independently issued battery certificate to be included with the vehicle when they buy a used electric vehicle. And how is this reflected now? You can see here next to me, 36% is the rate by which you can sell your used vehicles faster if you include an independent battery certificate. Speed is one thing, but of course, it's also about not just selling faster, but also generating more revenue and therefore more profit per vehicle sold. And this has also been proven by this study. Participants in more than 6 countries were surveyed, and by comparing online listings, it was determined that, depending on the country, the minimum willingness to pay more ranges from 550 euros to 1,100 euros if an independent battery certificate is included with the vehicle. This means you are already saving money throughout the entire sales process, selling faster and therefore more, and you can also increase your revenue and thus your profit. And all of this can be done easily in just 3 minutes by performing an independent battery test with AVILOO. And here we have another nice real-world example for you. The company Mannheim Express in Germany, a major vehicle auctioneer, has already successfully onboarded AVILOO and is using it productively in their used car business. And the statistics speak for themselves. Mannheim has made it possible to generate 29.3% more bids by adding our battery certificate. Not only more bids, but also, in general, the number of bidders increased by 22.4%, which has enabled an overall higher sales rate of 33.4% in the used electric vehicle market. These numbers really speak for themselves and provide added value to anyone involved in the trade of used vehicles. You're probably wondering what a battery certificate like the one we provide actually looks like. And as you can see here to my right, it offers a wealth of information. That means on the first page, you'll see the well-known state of health of the vehicle's battery, which is a key indicator of the battery's value. And of course, the state of health is an important value that's well known in the industry, but your buyers might need additional information to interpret it. That's why, at AVILOO, we've introduced a globally unique benchmarking system that compares the vehicle you've tested with similar vehicles of the same model series, the same battery, roughly the same age, and about the same mileage. This allows us to show you whether your vehicle is perhaps a bit above average, right at the average, or maybe just below it. In any case, the transparency and interpretation that we provide to your potential customers, in turn, helps you sell vehicles faster and for more money. But that's not all. We also offer the detection of anomalies and abnormalities in the battery. This means that, in addition to checking the state of health, we also examine the battery at the cell level to see how well it is performing. And in this way, we are also uniquely able to show, on a global scale, how well each individual cell is performing and, in case there are any issues, to immediately provide an initial indication of which cell or which module needs to be repaired in order to restore a better state of health. To sum up, it can be said that there is uncertainty in the market, but you can use this uncertainty surrounding the battery in electric vehicles as an opportunity to create new value in the used car market with the AVILOO battery certificate. Because we've heard that 57% of new car buyers would be willing to buy a used electric vehicle if it came with a battery certificate, and 75% of these buyers actually expect a battery certificate. These facts, in turn, mean that 36% of vehicles can be sold faster if you include an independent battery certificate with your vehicle. And of course, that also means more money, because you can earn between 550 and 1,100 euros more per vehicle sold if you include a battery certificate showing the vehicle's battery health. And we've also demonstrated this for you with a real-world example, showing increased sales rates thanks to more bidders and faster sales. Thank you very much for listening today. I wish you all the best, and take care of your health.